a door, and you are in that place with that person, and anything that has been happening has all been resolved, there is complete peace. You are surrounded in the Spirit, and you are just basking in God's grace with this person you love in the most glorious place on earth. You have to come back. So we're not done yet. But how do you feel now?
Great.
That little exercise can change your life. But we tend to get into a place where we're grumpy, and we're thinking bad things, and then we like to roll around in it. We're going to keep being mad about it, and we're just going to be mad, and we're going to think about it, and we're going to call people and get them thinking about it so they can feed us feeling thinking about it. Now we're all thinking about it because we need someone to validate our right to be mad. So now not only am I'm contagiating everybody else with my yuckiness, and now they're like, yeah, that happened to me too, and now she's miserable. So we don't just have a bad thing, we like to chew on it. Stop doing that. Seriously, stop doing that. You're killing yourself. Stop doing that. I'm guilty too. So I'm listening. I'm sitting right next to you hearing the same talk. I know this and I do it. Capture your thought for Christ. Something comes into your mind that shouldn't be in there. You say, Lord, I want that. Lord, take that from me. I don't have the strength to deal with that. Take that away from me. I don't want to go there. And replace it with something good. Replace it with whatever is good, whatever is true, whatever is peaceful, whatever is lovely. Think on these things. Whatever is noble, whatever is pure. Think on these things. Fill your mind with these things. That's what's going to give you the peace. So that emotional contagion. Who are you following? Is the person you're following doing shows? Is the person that you're following sponsoring people? Is the person that you're following plugged in to a source that's healthy? To a source that's feeding them and encouraging them? If the person that you are following doesn't do shows, hasn't sponsored anybody this year, is telling you about all the stuff that you need to be doing, what are you doing? I mean, unless you want her business, then by all means follow her. But you need to decide what you want in your culture and find somebody who's living that and follow that. People ask me all the time, who's your mentor? What do you read? I read everything. If it has words in it, I read it. It doesn't matter what it is. I devour books. I love writing books. I love reading books. But the only book that I've read that has made me, that has really challenged me as how to lead, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Nobody can lead like Jesus. So he has kind of a rudely group. They weren't exactly polished, refined guys. And they really challenged him on some things. And some of the stuff I read, I'm like, wow, 3 years and they're still asking you that, huh? 3 years and they're still wondering who you are. Wow, maybe I should be nicer to my downline. We've only been in for a year and I'm like, aren't you getting this yet? But if you want to find out how to lead, how to really lead, how to be a servant leader, those are good books. And you can figure out how to have that internal culture that affects the people around you instead of letting the people around you affect your culture, which is typically what we do. We become whatever it is we're with. We're like chameleons because we want to just be like everybody else and we want to be the one who stands out. Be the one who steps above the drama. Be the one who's able to pull back from whatever that nasty chaos that's going on and say, hey, can we get some perspective? Be that person that is willing to stand back, that is willing to not gossip, not talk. Be the one who sets the stage for the culture, that other people go, how is she able to do that? She's always so peaceful. She always has that calm about her. How does she do that? I want that. Well, I can show you where you could get it. If you want to lead people, you have to be in a place they want to go. If you want to lead people, you need to be in a place other people want to go. You can't lead people if you're not leading yourself. You can't lead people if you're in a place that's the same place they are. You have to set yourself apart And when I talk about leadership, I'm not just talking about the jewelers on your team. I'm talking about the women at your show. Do you want them to buy something from you? They're going to have to trust you. They're going to have to buy you first. Do you want people to book a show with you? Then they need to want you in their home. So everything we do is about creating that leadership. It's about creating a culture people want to be around. People want to be involved in. The best compliment anyone's ever paid to me, 2 of them, 2 different people. One of them said, I said, well, why did you become a jeweler? We're at a big meeting. She said, I just really wanted to be around you. I was like, oh, that's really sweet, but really? She goes, no, that's it. And I felt really, I was like, okay, I don't even know how to help you with that. You want to come to dinner? I mean, I don't know what to do with her. And the other one was someone came to me and she said, you know, I've seen you at retreats and I've heard you talk, and I go to church every Sunday, but I want to know your God, because it's not the God I know. Being able to create a culture that people look at and go, I want that. I don't even know what that really is. I just know I want that. I want what she has. I want to be where she is. I want to have that peace. I want to have that center. I want to have that kind of success. Not the kind of success that tears you off in different directions, make you more frazzled, makes you more crazy than you were before when you weren't successful. Success to me is being successful in all things. One of the teachings that I do is about harmony, because I don't like the word balance, because you can't really be in balance. If you ever saw balance is in balance, it's doing what? Does your life ever look like that? Completely still, nothing going on? I could be in balance really easy if I didn't have anything going on, right? So when we try to balance our life, it doesn't work, because you can't get your life to stop long enough to be in balance. What you want to try to create is a harmony with all the stuff that's important to you. And sometimes this thing's going to take time, and sometimes this is going to take time. Sometimes your business is going to have to take precedence over your family, and sometimes your family is going to have to take precedence over your business, and sometimes this is going to have to wait till later. But if all of these things that are important to you are all peaceful, healthy places, you're successful. If you build a huge business, and you've got tons of money, and you've got lots of people, and you're frazzled and miserable, that's not success either. So figuring out a way to keep your core in you, what you want for you, what's best for you, what's best for your family, what God put in you to be who you're supposed to be. When you figure out what that is, all the great information that's out there from all the fabulous trainers that we have in this company, and all the books you can read, you can then read that information, take in that information, and hold it up against you and go, yeah, this doesn't really work for me. I'm not condemning her or saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying it doesn't fit with me, and that's okay. Yeah, but she's an executive director. I have to do it. No, you don't. Because you've decided this is the culture that I want. And I can make those decisions. I can give myself permission to own my own business. Each one of you owns your own business. You are all business owners. You have to decide what you want your business to look like and then make it look like that. Instead of saying, is it okay if I do this? Do you think I should do that booking activity? Maybe I should do that. I need permission to do that. Can I miss that? Can I go to this? Should I not do that? Grow up. You're all adults. You may have a mama in Premier, but you all, you were all adults when you signed your paperwork. You didn't revert to childhood. So don't feel like you can't own your business. You don't need somebody else to come in and tell you how to run it. Do you need help? Do you need resources? Do you need direction? Sure. You don't need the home office to offer you promotions. Offer them yourself. You need the home office to spoon you a business. You go create it. You have every tool out there you need. If you don't build it, it's because you decided not to. And it's nobody else's fault but yours, because you have every tool available. And you can make this whatever you want to make it. But deciding what that is first is really important. Otherwise, you end up being that wave, tossed about the waves, all over the place because you didn't focus first on what it is you were trying to accomplish. Creating that own personal culture. Unload the pessimistic people in your life. Now, if that's your husband, then you don't want to know. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm saying that you pray scripture over that man. You just pray for him and say, Lord, I'm going to honor you in my marriage, and just please make him less grumpy. But there are a lot of people we choose to be with that we don't need to choose to be with. There are a lot of people who treat us poorly that we need to learn to set boundaries against because they are hurting us and we're letting them. So set your boundaries, get rid of the pessimistic people, because it's really hard when you're trying to create this culture and you keep letting people come in and poisoning you with bad stuff. It's okay for you to protect them. Yes, but I'm supposed to serve. I'm supposed to serve other people. I'm supposed to have a servant's heart. I'm supposed to love on everyone. I'm supposed to nurture my people. Absolutely. Starting with you. You know the whole thing in the airplane, put yours on first, otherwise you can't help somebody else? Okay, well, a bunch of us are out there without oxygen trying to save everybody else in the world while we can't breathe. Because none of us will take the time to take care of us first, so we have the ability to take care of somebody else. Set your boundaries, get rid of the negative people that surround you, and only be around people who encourage you. Amen. If this person makes you feel yucky, stop hanging out with her. Now, there are some people we have to deal with. If I know that I'm going to be dealing with somebody who drains me, I gear up. I spend extra time in prayer. I give myself a start time and an end time. I guard my emotions. I do not emotionally engage with that person. I deal with the business I have to deal with that person. I am kind. I do not get mouthy. I am not critical. I deal with the business. Is there anything else I can do for you? Great. Have a great day. Done. I do not engage with people who drain me emotionally. Because I do. And then it's like 4 days later and I'm trying to pick myself up off the couch and do anything. After I talked to everybody else about how someone just sucked my life out. No, I gave it to her. Nobody can drain you without your permission. So don't stop doing that. Don and I were looking at triggers. Are you passionate? Are you powerful? Are you rebellious? Like what is your trigger? And it's always been passion for me. In case you haven't noticed, I get really passionate about things. I get passionate about lots of things. I get passionate about pound cake with chocolate sauce. I mean, I'm not particular. But I live life hard. Because what's the point otherwise? That's just my personality. I'm not telling you have to be me. Just trying to explain myself here. My husband's not that way. But I want that whole suck the marrow out of life kind of thing. But everyone is passionate about something. You may not be passionate about the same thing I am, but you are passionate about something. That's your fuel. Do you know what you're passionate about? I mean, have you thought about it? Most people just kind of go through life, just kind of coasting through, doing what comes next. The title of my book is Living Life Intentionally, like as in on purpose, instead of just letting life come at you. You are passionate about something. I encourage you to take some time and figure out what that is. Pray about it. Ask God, what am I passionate about? What makes my heart sing? That's a question I ask my kids. What makes your heart sing? I want them to find out what their passion is. Either be all in or be all out. That lukewarm, read Revelations, I don't want to be spit out. You know, lukewarm people get spit out of his mouth. Either be hot or be cold. Find out what you can be passionate about and bring that to your business. One of my designers, she's a 2-diamond, she's been in for 7 years or so, part of that group that Donna was talking about. And she really struggles in leadership because this is not her giftedness. She's not a speaker. She not, she doesn't have that charisma to be able to do that. That's just not her strength. She's so good at friendship. She just loves befriending people. She said, so if that's my passion, how do I use that in my business? And I said, what's the best thing in your business? What's the best day in your business? She said, well, I had this hostess. And she didn't really wear any makeup, and she was really felt kind of frumpy all the time. And she had a good show, but she didn't even know what to get. So I took her shopping, and I bought her a new outfit, and we got her hair done, and I, had this whole day. It was a makeover day for her, and I helped her pick out the jewelry. It was the best day that I ever had. And she said it was so good, and she was so appreciative, and she lit up, and it changed her whole life, and she has shows for me twice a year because it made such a huge difference for her. And I'm watching her talk, and this is what she's doing. And she's getting really animated, and all of that charismatic behavior she says she doesn't have starts coming up because this is what she wants. Now that, to me, is like a day... shoot me first before don't make me do that. Because that's not my passion. But for her, this was all. She said, I can't buy all my hostesses new outfits to get their hair done. I said, no. Maybe you could offer that as your booking incentive. Book a show with me, and you get a personal shopper, and I'll take you out and help you find an outfit and be able to... Isn't that better than here, have a purse? If that's her passion, if that's what feeds her soul, guess how blessed people are going to be if she uses that in her business? Because that's going to come out of her. So what are you passionate about, and how can you use that passion in this business to help your business and to serve other people? It has to be what you're passionate about, because if you try to be passionate what I'm passionate about, it's not going to work. You have to figure out what's going to make you work with passion. Sorry. All right, last part of this part is priorities. I did a retreat in the fall, a women's retreat in the fall. What are the most important things in your life? Okay, you have 6 months to live. What are the most important things? Children.
God's first.
God.
Family.
Family.
My dog.
Your dog. Hey, we all have it. No judgment. Okay, you're not really dying. You just are living your perfect life. What else is on that list that's important to you? I'm sorry?
Travel.
Travel.
Health.
Health. Sisters. Okay. When I did this retreat, we listed all of these on the board. For most people, God, spouse, children, physical health, and like extra family and friends. Those are the 5 most important things to pretty much everybody. I mean, there were 150 women there, and that was the consensus. How many of you do something for those 5 things every day? All 5. Every day. Good for you. You should do those 5 things before you do anything else. Because if those are the most important things, those always get pushed to last. Because I have to check that email. I just have to get that text. I just have to do this first. I just have to run here. I'll get to that later. You never get to it. Most important things should never be at the mercy of the least important things. Goethe said that. The most important things should never be at the mercy of the least important things, and yet they always are. Because a ringing phone just feels more urgent than prayer time. But it really isn't. Because at the end of your life, you're not going to wish that you spend more time on the phone. Do the 5 things that are your biggest priority first. This is why I like it. Because if I get up and I have time with the Lord, and I spend time with Glenn, and I spend time with my kids, and I go exercise, I could do nothing else that day and feel really good about myself. That's why. Then I could be lazy for the rest of the day and still feel like I was good. Reverse that. Get up, start doing emails, have work to do, but get distracted by everybody else's stuff because the email's coming in, the thing, and the phone ring, and you've got your list, but you never get to it because everybody else's lists keep compiling on top of yours. It's now 2 o'clock, I haven't showered yet, and I have to get Max. How is that possible? I didn't get anything done. So you're all nodding. That one's more familiar to most of you, I'm noticing. If you don't do those things first, you don't get them done, and you end up doing everybody else's important stuff and never getting to yours because they just keep coming in. The phone keeps going ding, ding. That's Donna's ringtone. I've been with her for 2 days. Ding, ding, ding. Turn it. You know you can turn those off. Did you all know that? That's like an off button. It doesn't make any noise at all. You can't even see it. I just want to know because I think a lot of women don't know that. So how are you spending your days? C.S. Lewis says, what is necessary is never impossible. If it is necessary for you to exercise and be healthy, it's not impossible. If it is necessary for you to spend quality time with your spouse, not impossible. If it is necessary for you to spend one-on-one time with your children, it's not impossible. If it is necessary, it's not impossible. God's not that cruel. So whatever it is that you feel is most important to you, there is time to do it if you decide to make that time. And how do you do that? You control your thoughts. What are you thinking about? What are you plugged into? What are you listening to? Who are you allowing to stir your pot? Who are you allowing to dictate who you are? Who are you following? Do you want to end up where that person is? If not, quit following them. When I first came in Premier, I was very skeptical, very cynical, and in the first year, I kind of got into a rough group of stuff and was led astray by some people. So I went, shut down. I didn't bring anybody in to train. I didn't go anywhere else. The only place that I went was Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Because I didn't know who I could trust. I didn't know who was telling me the right thing. I didn't know who was lying about what, and it didn't matter what their level was. There was just a whole lot of stuff that I didn't know what to do with. It seemed to work. I'm just saying. So if you're looking for someone to follow, that's a good place to start. Making sure that you are developing a culture for yourself, for your business, that you love. Because it's who you were created to be. Doing the things that you were created to do. And when you are that person, people will follow you. When you are who you were created to be, you will set the world on fire. St. Catherine of Siena. When you are who you were created to be, you will set the world on fire. When you own you, people will go, wow, I want what she has. And when they do that, you become a leader because you get to influence them. You get the privilege of speaking into their life and helping them to find that same thing. The second half, we're going to talk about how to create a team culture. How do you then take that and reach it out to develop an entire organization that operates with that same mentality?
Wonderful. Woohoo! Make sure it didn't ring. I was having a heart attack after you said that.
You were doing your OP.
There's something new that I found, and so I have to use my notes, which I hate using because then I end up reading, but there's some new stuff I found that I want to share with you. If you do not believe and live out of that belief, neither will anyone else. Great leaders share their belief, vision, and passion, and then inspire others to believe. If you do not believe and live out of that belief, neither will anyone else. It's not enough to just say you believe something. You actually have to live out of that belief. Several times over the last couple of years, I thought I was ready to talk again, but now I'm scribing. God has called us to do things we didn't think we were doing. May of 11, he said, you're going to move to South Carolina. And literally it was about that direct. We had no intentions of moving. We weren't planning on going. Our kids were starting high school. We had no intentions of moving. That was May. We moved in July.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes. And everyone said, well, how did you do that? Who do you know there? Nobody. Well, did Glenn get a job? Nope, he does this with me. Do you have shows? No. Your family there? Mm-mm. Why are you going? God told us to. If I say I'm a follower and then I don't follow, then I'm not really living out of my belief. If I say that I'm a believer and I don't live by faith, then I'm a hypocrite. We can't say this is who we are and then not live that way, or no one will follow you. I'm a person of integrity. Well, except for when I want to do this, this, or this. You have to live out of what you profess to believe. So if you don't live in that walk, quit saying that's what you are. You have to live what you profess to believe, or no one will follow you. You can do this business. All you have to do, you're going to do lots of shows, sponsors people. It's really easy. You can do it. Or you, well, no, but you can. Why would anyone follow you? Well, I've done one show this year, but I know you can do more than that. It doesn't even make sense. We laugh at it, and yet people do it. There are people out there attempting to lead other people to be successful in this business that don't do home shows. Don't be following that person. So you need to take accountability to that, but make sure in your own walk, are you living out of your belief, or are you just a talker? Someone who says you believe in this company, someone who says you believe it's easy to book home shows, someone who says that they love people. You could say these things, but are you actually living that out? Becoming a person of integrity doesn't just mean having good morals. The word integral, I apologize for this, I'm actually a high school English teacher way a long time ago. But to be a person of integrity, to have integrity, means that you are integrated. meaning you are the same on the inside, on the outside, at home, at school, away, at a show, at rally. If Jesus were sitting next to you, would you be doing what you're doing? If not, then you're really not operating out of integrity if you profess to follow him. If Andy Horner was sitting next to you, would you be doing what you were doing? And if not, then you are not actually, you don't have integrity with what you say he teaches. If you are telling someone that they can do 4 to 6 home shows a month and you haven't done that in the last 2 years, you are not operating out of integrity. You are not an integrated person. Be the same person all over. Be the same person at home, at school, at the shows, wherever you are. And people will follow you. Because people don't do that. We tase our masks all the time, depending on who we're with. So you have to live out of that belief. So what is your mission statement, and does your team know what that is? Does your family know what that is? Do you have a family mission statement? Have you actually thought about what that might be? Do you have an intention about your day, about your life, about your team? So as you're building a team, how many of you would like to have a team of jewelers in Premier? Raise your hand really high if you would like to have a team. Okay. How many of you would just really like more shoe money? Raise your hand if you're in that category. Okay.
More, say that again.
As opposed to the team. I mean, you can have both, but how many of you would just want shoe money and no team? Because that's okay. I have one of those. She's awesome. You take one of those? You just want shoe money? All right. So the reason I ask that question is, to be silly, but I don't want you to think I'm not talking to you. Like, I'm not saying you have to build a big team. These principles apply to being a jeweler. Okay, so don't think, oh, well, I don't want to be in leadership, so I don't have to listen to this part. Because there will be things here that will apply to making you a better leader as a mom, a better leader as a jewelry lady. Okay, so if you are someone, I want you to put yourself in these words, not to think, well, I guess I have to sponsor, but to see how this can benefit you. Do you tracking what I'm saying? Okay. In Premier, our mission statement is attracting, inspiring, and sustaining passionate jewelers. That's what we want to do. We want to attract people to this business. We want to inspire them while they're here. We want to sustain them for long term. Whatever we bring to Team Weaver Connection, we hold up against that mission. Is this going to inspire people to want to be part of us? Is this going to attract people to us? Is this going to help jewelers stay in? If not, is this a place we want to invest our time, energy, and efforts? Having an idea of what you want as a mission for your organization, family, other job, helps you to weed out the stuff that doesn't match. It makes the world a lot easier to navigate. For Grace Unfolding, our other business, our mission is inspiring other people to live life on purpose. That's what I want to inspire other people to do, to live life on purpose, be intentional about their choices. So when I'm making decisions about what talks I'm going to give, where I'm going to travel, what retreats I'm going to do, what one-on-one coaching I'm willing to take on, it has to go in line with that mission statement. Otherwise, that's not really what God wants me to do. So that's something to pray about. What is your mission in Premier? What is your mission at your shows? What is your mission in general? What do you want to be known for? So figuring out what that is so that you can live out of that. Building trust with people, you want them to then, you have to find a way to have them adopt that same vision. My 16-year-old, the bike girl, she's now 16, she has very strong leadership qualities. She's just a natural leader, which then also means she's really bossy and controlling and tries to make people do what she wants through sheer force. She's the oldest of 4, and therefore she's always been, you're in charge, so she just assumes that's of the world kind of personality. And so we spend a lot of time trying to help her to understand that she can't lead by force. You cannot lead by force. This is not a dictatorship. You cannot lead by coercion. You cannot lead by fear. Now, can you get people to do stuff in those things? Sure, for a short period of time. But if you actually want to be a leader of people, you have to do it through inspiration. You have to get people on board with your vision. So you having one's usually a good place to start. And then helping them to get on board with that. So if it's your family, what do you want your family to be seen as? How do you want your kids to grow up? What do you want them to be known for? Getting them to follow that is by building strong relationships. Too many people focus on wanting people to follow the rules, but don't invest in the relationships so that people aren't motivated. You better come to training. She hasn't talked to me in 6 weeks, but she's demanding that I show up. Rules without relationship leads to rebellion. I know I keep throwing a lot of quotes at you, but I told you I do a lot of reading. Rules without relationship leads to rebellion. You have to have a relationship if you're going to give people a rule that you expect them to follow. There has to be a personal investment from you in the lives of the people that you're giving rules to, if you want them to actually follow the rules that you're putting down. So it's only through those relationships that we get transformed. And I mentioned that at the beginning about being a people of community, that it's being around others. Like, people rub off your rough edges. Being married, my goal in being married is to help Glenn grow in holiness. His goal in being married is to help me grow in holiness. And that our goal as a married couple is that we can grow in holiness together to become the people that God created us to be. In order to do that, you have to be vulnerable and be allowed to have your edges rubbed off. When you live close to somebody, there's a lot of edges that jab each other. But over time, if you allow that to happen, those edges become smooth and you become more refined. And so relationships will do that for you if you're humble enough to let it happen. And it's within that relationship of trust that when people trust you, one of the things that my team says to me all the time, I love that you will always tell me the truth. I don't really always like it, but I love that you're going to do it. They know I love them enough never to lie to them. They know I love them enough to not let them stay where you are. I love you too much to let you sit in the muck that you're currently in. And that's how I approach my leadership. That's what I say to my kids. That's what I say to my leaders. God says that to us. I love you too much to let you sit in the sin that you're in. When we can love that way, where you have a relationship first, people invite you to speak into their life. I'm loving the music in the background. Making me feel really...
I planned that.
You planned that?
Yeah.
So it's awesome of you. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I was getting really distracted over there. Okay. Only through relationships can we be transformed. Where there's a void in communication, within those relationships, negativity will fill it. Mm-hmm. Where there is a void in communication, if you don't talk about it, the worst is assumed.
Amen.
You come home and you thought something was going to be going a certain way and it's not. He didn't do what you thought he was going to do or what you thought you had asked him to do, and so you're mad because you go off. He never does that. Never does the thing with words. You've gone off in your brain to this place of this horrible person you're married to. Never does what he says he's supposed to do. All of that, you've already created this whole negative response. And he comes home and says, well, I stopped on the way home because I didn't make dinner because I'm taking you out because I had a promotion and I bought tickets to take you out, and here's the... Now you feel sheepish. Okay, and that's a really kind of obvious example, but that happens all the time. If you don't talk about it, people will assume the worst. So just talk about it. It's never as bad as it will become if you don't talk about it. So in your team, if there's an issue, we're all women, so there's usually an issue. Talk about it. Make them talk to each other. Not to you and the go-between and everybody else. Talk to each other. Help them to talk to each other. Help them to see a way past the issue instead of turning it into a bigger issue. Teaching people how to communicate. When there's that negativity, everybody goes into survival mode. Something happens with the company. Let's say, I don't know, there's this rumor going around that, I don't know, we're going to start selling widgets, okay, instead of jewelry. But nobody ever really says anything. And there's this buzz. I don't know, are we really selling widgets? Maybe I shouldn't buy more jewelry. I don't think I'm going to book any more shows until I really hear about the widget thing, because then I'm going to have all these shows booked for jewelry and we're not going to have any jewelry. And this whole buzz through the company. And everybody goes into survival mode. Well, I'm going to hold on to the jewelry I have because I might not be able to get any more. Whenever there is a breakdown in communication, we all go into self-protection. So if you have a team of people, you have a family, and there's a breakdown in communication, kids go to the room, they slam the doors, husbands and wives go to different rooms, there's no talking, and everybody's just protecting themselves. So as uncomfortable as it is to talk about things that are uncomfortable, it's more uncomfortable to let them fester. Because everybody then makes assumptions, when everybody's assuming this person's really mad at me, when she's just really hurt. I mean, we've all been on the other side of the resolution going, gosh, this really wasn't that big of a deal. So being the leader and being able to, as I said at the beginning, pull back out of the drama, actually see what's going on and not become emotionally attached to one's opinion or the other. Look at the situation and help people to communicate will so help the problems of drama in your organization. We don't typically help because we jump right into it with them with both feet. And whoever we talk to first, well, that's who we're, oh my gosh, I can't believe she would ever do that. That's so terrible. Do we ever ask her? No, we've already run with this person. It's so dangerous to do that. Creating a good team culture means as the leader, we need to facilitate better communication. And it starts with us, with having our people trust us. Do your children trust you? Do they actually trust you with their vulnerability? Can they be vulnerable with you? Or are they afraid of what you might say or think if they actually told you the truth about who they were? Can your jewelers trust you with their vulnerability? Or are they afraid that you're going to judge them because they really don't want to build a business or because they really don't know how to book a home show even though they've been in for 4 years? They don't want to tell you that because you might think something, and so we make assumptions about them. Building that trust and communication starts with you being transparent. When I first started in leadership, I thought if I admitted my failures, I lost all credibility. Like if I told people that I didn't know what I was doing, then why would anybody follow me? That was how I was raised. I don't think my dad, my parents just, they didn't apologize because they'd lose authority. And so that's what I thought you did to lead. In order to have authority, you always have to be right. You always have to have the right answer in the right way. But what I've learned is when you appear to always have the right answer, when you appear to always, it always works out for you, then nobody can do what you do because they think, well, I can't do that. I'm not perfect like her. I don't have my whole world together like she does, so I couldn't possibly be a leader in this company. So now I'm happily parading my $68 home show in front of all of you. You too can do this business. Being able to be transparent. I am not perfect. I say things I shouldn't say. I act like I shouldn't act. I do all of these things. This is why we need Jesus. This is not getting yourself together first to come to him. It's because he's here we can't even get ourselves together, right? Own that. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry I said that. I don't know what got over me. I am so sorry that I embarrassed you in front of people. I don't know why that came out of my mouth. Please forgive me for hurting you. I am so sorry that I completely gave you wrong information about how to do that home show. I am so sorry that I never turned in your replacement exchange. I am so sorry.